As you can see, the battery is sitting at 12.75 volts currently. There is a small charge of about a half an amp, 0.4. It's kind of moving around. I flipped the sun panels facing as best as possible into the sun, and already we're generating power. The interesting thing here is I use the Optima yellow tops, and as you can see, the voltage is 12.7. That would be the resting voltage for most other batteries, 12.7 to 12.75. The Optimas rest when fully charged at 13.1 volts. So you could kind of think by using the Optimas, I gained a whole night of usage. I was in and out of the fridge a lot while making supper, probably more than I should have, but nonetheless, we really didn't use a lot of power, and the sun is only just kicking in and starting to charge. They'll top up right away. I'm Mark, and this is the third episode in our series of Overland power systems. In this episode we're going to go into these two kits, and they are part of the heart of our system. You might be quite surprised. Let's get started. Okay, at the heart of our system is this 7-port USB charger, which is AAC powered, and each one of these will do 2.4 amps. It has quite a bit of power, and I can get a lot of stuff going on, and you'll kind of see in a minute why I like to do that, because when I sit down to charge, I like to bundle it all up and get them all going. And for that, you need a fair bit of power and lots of USBs. I try to go to USB wherever possible. This is a 4-foot cable. There is also, I carry a kind of just over a foot, and between the two AC pieces in here, it works pretty good. This is the heart. I thought about putting some Velcro on here and sticking it somewhere, although I like the flexibility of taking this wherever. As you heard earlier, we will move everywhere, and this is nice because I can plug it into here and light this up, and it gets things charging right away. This is my drone charger. It'll do 4. I have the Mavic Air, and it's a really good drone, and the batteries charge. It doesn't have a lot of battery life. About 18 minutes is it if you really got a good charge on it. It does them sequentially, so starting with whichever one has the most power to the least power. That way it spits one out quicker, and it works okay. This cord can also go straight to a single battery if I need to, right? There are USB chargers out there. I'm looking for one that I think is good. I haven't seen one from DJI, of course. They don't really understand the reason for running on batteries. Everybody's got to plug into the wall, right? So I can use the inverter, and it works pretty good. Mine's excellent. It's a pure sine. So for that, it's really good. One of the neat things about the Mavic Air batteries is that this can plug into a battery, and I can get USB out of it. It's really pretty good that way, and I think it allows me to use all the batteries if I need to charge other things. For example, these batteries or other batteries, or I have a light. I got all kinds of stuff that work for that. I also have a plug-in a cigarette lighter port or power port. This gives me 4 2.4 amp charging circuits as well, and that's important because the 2.4s really do a good job at giving us charge fully on all of the new devices. So if you can have 1.5 that's on a cheaper one, or even a half on a battery powered laptop, they just take forever to charge. If you got enough power, they'll take it, and their own charging circuits will determine what to do. So I have also one of these on the dashboard, which I always have, whether it be my the iPhones or the iPad for navigation with Gaia. I always have them plugged in when they're on the dash. That way they keep those topped up and they're just one less thing I got to manage. But if they're working good, I can substitute a plug-in there for any one of the USB chargers that I have. This just converts double A's to, or triple A's to double A's for another charger that I have, and it's a Goal Zero charger. We'll get to that. It's in this case here. This is the aftermarket RAV Power charger for my DSLR, Sony DSLRs, and this is where the batteries will charge here. It'll tie them both, or charge them both together. The batteries run every bit as good, maybe even better than the factory Sony. I do get a nag, of course, with Sony. They want me to spend double what the whole kit costs with the two batteries. Those are those two. And the Sony were in here, but I've had no issues. And I've been a user for RAV Power for a long time. Not sponsored in any way. I'm an evangelist, customer, so to speak. It's USB powered again. I think it's the micro or mini. I always confuse the two little guys. Anyway, this one, I don't know if you can see it, but it's that one. Anyway, so you plug it in, USB charges them in a couple hours. It's fast, really quite fast actually. And then it's my nemesis. I hate GoPro. I have two of them, the Mavic, or not the Mavic, the Hero Black 4 and the Hero Black 5. And of course you need different batteries, and the 3 was the same way. You had a whole new ecosystem. Ugh, that's bad enough. They can't even use the same battery when they physically are the same size. But we got to tweak it a little bit, you know, and then you got to go spend a couple $100 on batteries. They use a different, this is the other mini micro. This one uses, the 5 uses USB-C, and I carry the common charging ones, stuff that's in here. Generally speaking, I got one here, but these are the cables that I would use for all of the stuff in this case, and I can add others in here. But I like to keep some cables right where my unit is, if you've noticed how that works. So, and I have room for more stuff in here. I just don't generally put more in here, but I could add other things as changes, like when I change out the GoPros, which is high on my list. So with that, that's this case. And really it's a kit. All right, this is the last kit that I have. Really it should be the first. This carries some serious power in it, and I called the charger the heart of the last system. Really, it's this kit here. It allows me so much flexibility. It's hard to describe. So I'm going to take everything out on this one just to give you an example of what is here. So I carry, and I've had these for 5 years, long before I had solar power or anything. And these are RAV Power chargeable batteries, and they will do 2.4 on 2 slots. They can be a light as well, and they will tell you the power. They're incredibly stable. I gotta kind of do it. Both of these haven't been charged in probably 6 months, and they're still showing 100% of power. They're very stable. These ones here will deliver, I guess, like I said, 2.4 amp power, and they are 15,000 milliamps each. They will do an iPad or any unit USB device or piece here that is charging. They will do, I can do 2 at once. So for example, I can do my, let's say, microphone batteries, the double A's, and my iPhone or anything, my camera batteries, you name it. And I have 2 of them here, so that's 30,000 right here milliamp hours, which is a lot of power. I'll leave them out. They're very light. They're the lithium phosphate, which is tremendously light. There's 30,000. You know your car starters? That's what's in it. This piece. Not 2, this. The kind of power that's here. Lithiums are great for this application. They're great batteries in general, and they hold their power when they're cold. That's another feature. Now what I also carry here is a pretty good variety of different type of smaller, not so long cables. I'm a Mac guy, so I have the Mac cables. I have some more elsewhere. And I have some long ones and short ones, micro, mini, and standard as well. So I carry a good selection, and I've got some in the kits, but I carry extras in case I lose them, drop them, cables not working right or whatever. Okay. I carry a small case in here that I can fit one of these in or two of them. And that way, if I need to power the DSLR, or I need to power the GoPro, which is going to get changed out, if I said that already, to do a night lapse or something like that. I used to do more, but I can't rely on the GoPros to actually make it through the night. I saw you like to use these though, because they'll need power. They would only go about 15 minutes, 20 minutes probably. But I can hang this and then run the cable out, and I've got power for all kinds of things like that. It allows me just to give them a little more protection to the batteries. This is a Goal Zero charger kit. It's part of a Goal Zero kit, which I only have this of. I have 4 basic AA's in here. They're the high outputs. And what it is it's also a charger. It has a light on it, and I can charge it by plugging in a USB micro. So any of the batteries that I have here, I can do that with. The nice thing about this, it'll charge the batteries, but this will also become a charger, and I can charge something like my iPhone or any of my other batteries. It takes power from here to put to there. It will do an iPhone as long as it's not fully dead. You won't get quite the same capacity as you will out of the battery, but it works pretty good. And that piece you saw in there that I said was for takes the triple A's or double A's down to triple A's. That's where this goes. You take these batteries out and put the other ones in. But in a pinch, it's nice. I keep it here for a pinch. I also have 2 more RAV batteries here. These are really nice as well. You'll see everything has a number on it. And the reason is I go to the next number in sequence. So, for example, we actually have 3 of these. Nicole always carries one when she goes to work or whatever she does. So she's got a spare battery for her iPhone. And to give you an idea, we both have iPhone 6s Pluses, and this will charge it from dead empty. It won't throw an iPad back, but it'll do the iPhones just fine. So these each are 6,700 milliamp hours. So there's another 12 milliamp hours here. They're really small. They're simple. They charge super fast. So if I just need to charge the phone, or I want something more portable, we've added these, again, RAV power, and there we go. So they're awesome. So we have 2 of those. I can carry this in this case here or here. It is another RAV power battery. Again, I'm not sponsored in any way by this company, but I've been using them for 5 years, starting with these 2 and coming up to this is my latest. These ones are 2.5 years old. They're just awesome. And this one is 2,200 milliamp hours. And what this does is now I have 3 ports. This is the latest version, or maybe not even the latest version, but it has more power. You'll notice the size has gotten smaller. The weight is about the same, but the power is jumping. And this is the technology in lithiums. So for not much space, where I carry this, usually it was in here, but I started to carry it in my computer case, which I won't cover here, but I do have my computer kit when I take with me and travel and so on like that. This is always in there because I can usually do stuff with my iPad or phone as well, and I can get 3 items running here and while I'm doing stuff. So putting up a video or whatever on the road, going to a library. You know, I can do this without having to plug in or take power out of the MacBook Pro. So in this one here, it charges even faster than all the others. What makes this so important is this is about the equivalent of a full car battery in power, which is substantial. It recovers fast, it's very stable, and it holds its power better than any other battery. Like I said, these haven't been touched probably in 6 months. It's crazy, and they work very well. So when I need to plug everything in, I can plug it all in and charge it now, and I don't draw anything off the battery. And it's just backup and different options available. When do I like to charge these, or I find it's the best opportunity to? Well, I can do it on a day like today when I'm parked and got lots of solar power. If it's cloudy and it hasn't been tons and tons of power, I decide what's the most important to charge. But for these type of things, they do take some time, anywhere from about 2 to 8 hours on these. And this one here I'll charge in about 6 to 7. What I'll try to do is I will run these while we're driving. So I'll get them going early, pull the batteries on the whatever down if I have to, but I'll put them in the morning when we start, and then all day while we drive the vehicle, touring around, doing whatever, going to our next campsite, making miles on the road, whatever. That's the time to do this, because the Jeep is making lots of power. So we just take advantage of the engine when we've got it running. So I make sure that everything gets charged while we're moving in general. So that's just another efficient way to handle your power. If possible, when you're driving, charge then. And you can see everything has a home, and I've been talking about this since the day we started the channel. Everything needs a home, and we generally try to put everything together in kits. And as you can see, there's lots of room left in here for more items and stuff if we need to, or we change things in the future. I always put the open ports down, that way nothing can get into there by accident. That one goes in a different case. I carry a 10-foot electrical cord. It's got a light so I know it's on or off, and it's a good quality, very flexible, cold or warm. And it allows me to go from my inverter which produces AC power, to anywhere that I would want to use it around the Jeep. Sometimes I route it up into the tent. Sometimes I put it on the table on this side, at the back, at the front, or on the other side. I have plenty of room. It's not too much, it's not too little. It also allows me to plug in for shore power if somewhere I find it and I can use it. So I brought these out because they're really fundamental to our system as well, and it's my batteries and battery charging system in traditional type batteries, as well as the camera and GoPros and so on like that. So in this I carry 2 of my Sony batteries for the DSLR, and I have 2 GoPros. I hate them, by the way. They're garbage. I wish I didn't have them, and I am going to replace them. I have the Hero 5 and the Hero 4 blacks both, and I carry 4 in here plus 1 in the cameras, and 2 of course for the DSLRs. And I have a system that basically I've got a number tag on each one that is generally up if they are charged, and if they're not charged I put it down, so that, and then I go to the next number, and that's the same on all of these, and that way I can just keep track of them. So I carry 2 chargers, USB, for AA's and AAA's, and they'll do 2 at a time, and I carry up to 8 at one time, just because the microphone wireless I use, the lantern that's in the tent, the Siege Mini that uses, or they call it the AA, uses these as well, so I can cycle those. And of course, because I use the USBs, I also conveniently put small charging cables for the USB into them, and they go right into the chargers that I have, depending on where I'm doing it, which you'll see as we go further. On this side is actually where I keep the batteries. Basically, I carry two types of Amazon Basic batteries, AAA and AA. These are the high output ones, and they work very, very well, actually, I gotta say. As you can see, the power systems for overlanding are diverse, and you should have multiple avenues to produce power. And in today, with the type of equipment that people are using, cell phones, navigation systems, cameras, DSLRs, GoPros, adventure cameras, all kinds of whatever it is you're using, power has never been more important. And it's easy to handle this with relatively inexpensive products. And like I mentioned earlier, we've got links below in the description of almost all of this stuff that I've covered today, and I think you'll see some of this stuff is remarkably affordable, and that's what surprised me, and that's why I have so many, because a few of these smaller RAV4 batteries are like 20 bucks. I mean, really? It's ridiculously low for what it can do for you and how it changes and extends your capabilities, because our goal is always spend as much time as we can off the beaten path. We like to get off the grid, and to do that nowadays, power is nice. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so now. It really helps the channel grow. If you like this video, please hit the like button and the bell if you want to get notifications when we put up a new video. We sometimes put up a second video in a week, so it can catch people by surprise, but we just do, so the bell will help you with that. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.